So we're going to work on green screen, and what I've done so far is gone to my D drive into a folder that I set up. Each of you should do this as well too on C drive or D drive. Remember, you always want to work on the local drives on the machines. And what I've done is copied from the SD card into this folder. So I've already moved it over. Here it is. And what I'm going to do next is go into Premiere. Now that I've got it copied local. By the way, I've got a couple of backgrounds here I can experiment with as well. Always in that same folder just to make life simple. Here's Premiere. What I'll do is click on New Project, and I'll call this YouTube Demo. And I'm just going to take the defaults. That's fine for now. You'll see why. We'll be able to change that momentarily here. So next thing, what I'll do is I'm going to go into where I've got all those files. Open this up, and then I'm going to drag in the video file and put that in the staging area here. From there, I'll drag it into the timeline, and here's where the magic happens. It says this clip does not match the sequence's settings. That's no surprise because I randomly selected the first one that came up. Change sequence to match the clip settings? Absolutely. Change sequence settings. There we go. I can zoom in a little bit here. I might just trim this a bit. Let's just get this set first. Actually, I'll disable the audio. I could remove it entirely if I wanted by clicking unlink and simply deleting it. But I'll undo that. I don't really mind. I can just disable it just as easily. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first of all, go to the point where it starts. Yeah, right about here, I suppose. And and you can see I did unlink that. I will just delete it now just to simplify things. And then I'm going to stop it maybe right about here. So I've just trimmed it slightly just to shorten it down a little bit. I'll drag it over, and you can see our in point and out point automatically adjusted. So our project duration now is only about just over 6 seconds. All right, we've got two little problems here. Well, three actually. You can see that our actor's arm has gone outside the confines of the green screen. That's going to be a bit of a problem. We also have some of the background of my classroom showing up here, and then there's the problem of removing the green screen itself. So let's start by removing the classroom. So we just have the green screen to deal with, and we're going to use a filter for that. So I go to Effects, or an effect I should say, and I'll type in Matte, search for Matte. There's a number that come up here. I'll take the 8-point garbage matte and drag it onto my clip. And when I do that, we see that something changes up here in the effect controls. What's neat is if I click on this, I get these little points that I can actually drag straight onto my project. And so I'll just go ahead and do that. And I want to stay as close to the edges of this green screen as I can, since his arm is actually over the edge. There's nothing that we can do about this. We're going to lose part of his arm there. Sorry about that, Reed. Okay, and then I'm going to drag this over here and do the same thing on this side. And there we go. We're pretty much set. I'm just going to go through to make sure that this screen itself doesn't get blown around a bit and maybe parts of it reappear. No, it looks pretty good. All right, step 1 is done. Step 2, we need to remove the green. To do that, I'm going to just delete this, or just click the X here, and we'll search for a new filter. This one is going to be the Ultra key. It shows up under Keying, and you'll see what that does in just a second. And you'll also see that something else shows up under our effect controls for this clip. So anything that shows up here under effect controls is part of the currently selected video clip. All right, so what I'll do next is scroll down, and I'm going to select the eyedropper. And I want to click on this background, but where to click? Well, if I click on the darkest areas of the shadow, it's not going to be the best place to select. If I click the lightest spots, it won't be the best. I want something kind of intermediate. And we got kind of lucky there. To really have a look at that green screen though, and to see how well we've keyed it, what we actually want to do is click on Alpha Channel. And we can see that there are some problems here. This screen is going to need some cleanup, or we'll see through to that. We'll see through to when the background is displayed. In fact, let's try that right now. I'm going to go back to the project. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to take a picture that I've downloaded of Times Square, drop that in. We'll drag that into the timeline. You'll notice a couple of problems. First of all, we see New York and not what we want to see. That's because whichever is on the top layer, that's what shows first. So we'll simply reverse these, drag this underneath, and you can see it also doesn't match up. The default time for a still doesn't quite match up. We just drag that over so it matches nicely. Another problem we can see, it doesn't quite fill the background. So to clean that up, what we'll do is we'll select the image, and you'll notice that what shows up in the effect controls is different. If we select the image or the video, there's the video, there's the image. There's actually nothing here because we haven't applied any of the effects. So let's go up here to opacity, to motion, and all I'm going to do is scale this up by dragging it. And what I could do, I could set this number by simply entering directly, or I can drag it. Either one works fine. And I'll just drag it till it pretty much fits. Actually, as I'm dragging, I don't know if it's going to come through in the video, but you can see that there's a lot of garbage still left over from that keying that we did. So let's fix it. What I'll do is go back to the video layer, and then we'll go back up here to alpha channel. And then what I'm going to do is see if we can just clean this black up. Probably a number of ways to do that. We can go to matte generation. There's a whole bunch of different settings here. I don't know. Let's try shadow. That sometimes get lucky with that one. Oh yeah, that looks like it's going to do a good job. Okay, that was too easy. I just dropped the shadow down, and that seems to have solved the problem. Yep, that looks pretty good. You can see that part of his school uniform was a similar color, and we've now keyed that out as well too. It may or may not be all that noticeable. Let's go back and have a look. And yeah, you can't really tell. If he moves around a fair bit, we'll probably see the background move with it. But yeah, you can kind of tell, but just barely. Now there is a slight glow, sort of a greenish glow, reflection from the green screen around the outside edges of his arms. So what I'm going to do is try and clean that up. We'll go to matte cleanup, and choke, I believe, will do that. Yeah, if we drag it too far, it really thins him down. Let's just set that to maybe 10. That's probably, I could use a little bit more. Maybe I'll set that to 20. Let's see what that does. And then we're going to render it. All I'll do is hit enter. And while that's rendering, you can experiment with all of these settings and try to get the keying on this to work as best you can. You'll probably find that there's just about a perfect selection if you get things just right, the right combination to make your green screen look particularly effective. This is going to take oh, well, there we go. I guess it's not going to take too long. Okay, there we go. Not too bad, but his arms, as you can see, his arms do go beyond the confines, but we don't really see the boundary of the green screen, and that's what we want. Okay, that's it. Over and out.